Hey guys, in this video we're going to check out new webhook features announced around Shopify Editions 2024. That's a developers conference that took place in Toronto last week. Alongside that, we've started using them in some of our apps and it's made life a lot easier. So I want to go through that and show you how we set them up and some of the things to consider if you already have apps going and you'd like to switch, which you definitely should. So yeah, right before Editions 2024, Shopify announced that you can specify webhooks in your Shopify app.toml file, along with being able to filter the webhooks that get sent to your app. It's super powerful because it simplifies the setting up and maintenance of webhooks greatly. In the past, when someone installed your app, you would then have to have code that would use your access token to register the webhooks you're interested in. For every store, if you wanted to change where your webhooks got sent to, you'd have to go through every store that had your app, look up all the subscriptions of webhooks, update those subscriptions with the new URL. It was kind of a huge pain in the butt. And so now having be in a central app config, when you update things, it updates it globally. And this is extremely nice. It makes things very easy. So looking here, I have an example app toml file. You can see, we have this webhook section version you want to use. I should probably bump this up. There's probably a newer one. But anyway, looking at this, you'll notice this new block here, double brackets, webhook subscriptions. Inside of it, it'll have a topic. You can include multiple topics in this array if you'd like. Personally, I like to have a route for each topic. So, it just makes things easier on the debugging side if it's on a separate route, or at least that's my preference for it. But the nice thing is that Shopify allows you to have multiple of these definitions, as you can see. So I'm using one of those for each topics and having it go to an example API route webhook handler for that. At the bottom here's an example of using the filters. So this is a new feature. So say you only want product updates where the variant price is over $10. You could do filters under webhook customized filters. You can kind of read more about this. There's syntax for it. And so, search syntax right here. You can look into that. It is nice because if you want, you can just choose to basically handle less webhooks and, not handle those that you don't really care about. But yeah, anyway, don't want to go into it too much. Just, this is a new option that's available. So once you have all of this set up in your app toml file, you can deploy it using Shopify app deploy, connect it to your app. We have done this, and so I'll show you really quick what that looks like in the partners dashboard for an app that has it configured. So this is one of our apps. You can see webhooks are being sent. One thing, under subscription ID, there's config managed, and then there's a subscription ID. You should be mindful if you have an existing app, you're gonna wanna go through, get rid of those webhook subscriptions once you move over to the config manage. As you can see here, we're running into some issues because this is a create function. It still doesn't really like it because it's getting hit with the same webhook twice, once for the config manage setup and then once for a previously existing subscription. So, in order to avoid some of this, you'll want to go through, once you're sure that your config manage webhooks are working as expected, and go through all the stores and subscriptions for other webhooks that you have and go ahead and get rid of them. Otherwise, you're going to have duplicate webhooks. But yeah, we have these config manage webhooks going through, and it just makes things super simple now because, in the past, we used to have a check on, say, like our index page, we like to use Next.js. We have our app.toml and our extensions repo just because we like to keep those separate. But anyway, in our apps, we'll have, a check on some of the pages, the Next.js pages. That's like, okay, do we have a valid session, yada, yada. And if not, if it's a new store install, run these functions that would like register the webhooks and that sort of thing, fire any like initial syncing that our app needs to do. But now we can just kind of forget about all that webhook stuff because this app toml config, the global change, just handles all of that. And so it makes installs much faster. I think it's a really huge update on Shopify's end, and I really like it. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me on Twitter, in the comments on YouTube, that sort of thing. I'm happy to go through it. We've touched on it quite a bit. And so any way I can help, would love to. But yeah, hopefully this is really helpful for you in your Shopify app development.